Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone who's here. This is Laksh Mittal joining in from India, and this event, today's masterclass, is brought to you by Recurrent. Our vision at Recurrent is pretty simple. We want to onboard a million enthusiastic blockchain users to the Web3 revolution. And that is why we bring you a one of a kind masterclass series transitioning into Web3. The world is heading towards a very close knit culture, community based culture. Everything has a more connected system, and as time passes, everything around us will be working on communities. And who is at the folklore of that? Web3. Web3 is at the folklore of communities. Web3 is all about communities. And through the power of decentralization, blockchain, and the secret sauce, it is that time that we get onboarded to the blockchain flight. But before we get started with the masterclass, okay, let's talk about what we do at Trickle. A little sneak peek over there. Okay, Web3 is a new internet, and it is meant for anyone who wishes to be a part of a transparent, efficient, and autonomous ecosystem. This is where Recurrent steps in. The attendees at any event can discover Web3 jobs, okay, in professional environments like conferences, webinars, and masterclasses like these. In simple words, if I keep it, okay, Recurrent connects Web3 professionals or people who want to, go transition from Web2 to Web3, okay, to Web3 companies who are hiring at Web3 events. Today, we have more than 70 plus companies, okay, offering a plethora of jobs from all across the globe. Uniform, one of our founders, one of our partners, as well as one of our sponsors for this event, is hiring today. And here's an acknowledgement for our sponsors as well. We are also providing NFT minted certificates to all participants attending this event from our Recurrent website. So if you are streaming this from any other channel like YouTube, Twitter, or even LinkedIn, wherever you're streaming this from, okay, hop onto the Recurrent website, log in there, sign up, and enjoy this event live from our website and get a chance to keep a unique moment, a unique memory from today's masterclass. Get an NFT certificate minted for yourself. With this, it's time to now talk about the speaker today, the team that we're working with, and it's really amazing. Like, I'm very excited to work with them when I got to know them. Today with us we have Akshit, and he started as a person who's working in computer science, like his studies and everything, and now he's working with one of the blockchain companies, Huddle01. So to know more about him and to know about what he does at Huddle01, as well as what Huddle01 actually does, okay, let's call him upon to talk to him about everything that we can do today.
Hi, Lakshay. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It's a pleasure being here. So, I'm very enthusiastic about the presentation we're going to have. So, yeah.
Right. Awesome. Akshit, how you doing? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Very enthusiastic about what we're going to have.
Right, definitely. So, Akshit, why don't we start with, a simple, basic, start. Why don't you tell everyone about what you do, how you ended up in blockchain, how you started working with Huddle01. Let's start with that.
All right. So, my journey into Web3 actually started before that I was actually into full stack development, and I had been doing that since I was in standard 10th. So, I was very enthusiastic about new tech, and it intrigued me a lot. And when I heard about Bitcoin, I was very curious, like, this thing is revolutionary, and it like intrigued me a lot as to how like we're taking the power away towards the people. So that raised a lot of interest for that by my side. Then I actually did an internship. I did multiple internships in full stack there, and Huddle was actually my road to Web3. By Huddle, I got into Web3 space back in the DeFi
Okay.
summer, and I went hardcore into yield farming. So
Oh,
I
wow.
lost, but I also gained a lot. and the knowledge that Web3 gave me was through yield farming and DeFi. And now that all the protocols that I was interacting with, it intrigued me to look into the code of theirs because I was a full stack developer then. So that's how
Right.
I've started my journey in blockchain dev. So yeah,
No, this sounds very amazing that you started off in class 10th as like the 10th grade only. You must be a person who is like a full tech geek person who's used to just computers and learning about code, right? So tell me this like what is that one thing which actually made you like join Web3 or go into Web3? Because full stack when you do it's all about JSS, JavaScript or like sorry CSS, JavaScript and all of that, right?
right,
So
right,
it's
right.
fully Web2 and everything. But how did that jump? Like what is that one thing that made you go to Web3?
Yeah, so as I said that my journey in Web3 didn't actually start as a developer. Like
Oh,
I saw like Bitcoin going up, and I was like intrigued. Why is this happening? And what's the tech behind it? I was very curious about it. So
okay,
I figured out. I went to YouTube. I just googled multiple things like what is Web3, what is Bitcoin. I went through the Bitcoin white paper, and it really amazed me. Then when I got introduced to DeFi, I saw a lot of potential.
and
Like
when was
right
this?
now,
Like back in 2020?
yeah, this was back in 2020, which we call
Oh,
DeFi. Yeah. So at the time, Polygon was, going ham towards these DeFi protocols, like
okay.
Aave introducing collateralized loans. So that's how my journey started. And like I saw the power of what DeFi brings to the users, you know,
Right.
what what the centralized banks actually can't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's something that intrigued me a lot.
Okay, no, that sounds pretty awesome, right? Like you definitely spoke about how DeFi can change the way banks work or the financial system works right now. Okay, we even spoke about how the introduction of Flashloans came in through Polygon, right? Matic network basically, right? And you also spoke about yield farming, right? We'll go into the depths of these, okay? But before that, let's talk about Huddle01. Like, could you tell people about Huddle01? Like, what is it? What does it does? Like what does it do? How can it help the ecosystem in Web3? And how is the team working there? Some briefs around that.
All right. So we at Huddle, we are a very young team,
Right.
and like we actually started back in ETH Online. That was in 2019.
Okay.
As founders, Smith and Ayush started with a project that they had in mind. Like we didn't really have anything in Web3 solving decentralization of video conferencing. So what Huddle aims is to provide the Web3 users the ability to interact with each other in an anonymous way.
Okay.
Also, it is like it's built for Web3 communities. Say it might be DAOs, NFT communities, builders. So it gives an experience, a Web3 experience to the Web3 crowd. So like
Okay.
you can, for example, I'll give a short example. Like if you own any NFT, PFP NFTs, you can go ahead
Okay.
and put that as your profile picture, and you have that pseudonymous identity. Similarly, you can even link your addresses like ENS addresses, unstoppable
Right.
domains. You can integrate that as your username. So
Right.
that's what Hadoop aims at, to provide a Web3 experience for the Web3 native community. And
Okay.
we are focused towards a progressive decentralization. So we are not exactly decentralized as of now, but we are moving towards it. It's progressive. Yeah.
So how do you define progressive decentralization? Like what is it? If you had to teach me, like I am a dumb
Mhm.
5 year old, okay, how would you tell me what is progressive decentralization? Because see, everyone understands what is centralization, what is decentralization. Okay, but everyone knows that currently in Web3, not everything is decentralized fully, right?
Right.
So can you
Right.
tell me how is like what is this progressive decentralization and how is it working for Hardware?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like what happens is that we use a protocol called WebRTC. All right.
We have
So
artists. Yeah.
Yeah, you like I won't go deep into WebRTC. I'll explain it in a layman's language. So what it's just a protocol which enables the transfer of videos and audios. All right. So there's a centralized server which grabs your packets, like grabs your videos and audios and shares it to everyone. Right. If
Okay.
we go into decentralization on day one, all right, like if you
Hmm.
and me are chatting, so we can just send our audios and videos to each other, right? But if we are a group of 5 people, then you'll have to send your videos to all 5 people, and I'll have to
Oh,
send my videos and audios to all 5 people, and that won't be that optimized. It's a lot of
okay.
work. So
Okay.
that's the problem that we're facing today. Like there are central servers, and if like they capture all the videos and audios, and if those go down, then the system goes down. All right.
Okay.
So
So like no,
so
there
with
is no single point failure, right?
exactly. So in
Okay.
decentralized networks, like there is distribution of power. So there's no one
Okay.
single point of failure. But in centralized system, there is one single point of failure.
Right.
But
Right.
actually highly optimized as of now. So
Correct.
that's what we're trying to solve. That we don't have to rely on just one server, and we could decentralize that power.
No, right. That's definitely great. That's definitely, a good step towards progress as well, right? Because somewhere, what I feel blockchain is giving people is the autonomous, being
Hmm.
anonymous as well as autonomous at the same time. Correct.
Right.
So somewhere that is how I feel. We're progressing towards this decentralization. We aren't yet there. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you see everything is on cloud, on maybe AWS or
Right.
any other cloud servers,
Right.
right? So we are heading towards that, but I feel there's a good progress in the development side. Correct.
Yeah.
No, that's
Right.
that's
Also,
definitely great. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
right. Yeah, so also the progression also means that we're providing Web3 native features to the community. So, like, I'll
Oh,
give an example. Like, for DAOs and NFT communities, people might need a token gated system, right?
correct.
You won't find that in Web2. You'll have to like Google sign in, and then you'll have a wall that if you're signed in as this user of this particular organization, then you can enter the meeting. But
Okay.
in the Web3 space, we don't have any emails. We only have a MetaMask wallet or some other wallet, right?
Public key.
Yeah. So
Okay.
people can token gate based on those NFTs or DAO tokens. So
Right.
that's like a Web3 feature for the community, for the Web3
No,
community.
no, definitely. That's really great. That's really awesome. Like, congratulations to the Huddle01 team how they're progressing towards development. And I would love to see more progressive developments. Decentralization is definitely there, but something which actually helps adding value to the community, right? Because that is what we're in here for. Okay,
Right.
this sounds very pretty awesome. But now I feel it's time to, let's talk about DeFi and flash loans. Okay. So I'll give you your whole time. You can share your screen. Okay. Talk about DeFi, flash loans, whatever you're prepared. Okay. And let's
All
get
right.
started with that. Works?
All right. All right. Let's get started.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Sure.
One sec. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes. It's totally visible.
All right. Okay. So this is my PPT, Miracle of Flash Loans. So like the first time I heard of Flash Loans, it was a like it doesn't get in your head. If you like go ahead with the definition, you won't understand what Flash Loans actually are. You'll have to understand some concepts before you understand Flash Loans. So these are some. I would go ahead and explain some basic concepts, the building blocks of DeFi first, and the building blocks which make Flash Loans possible. So I'll go ahead and first start with the problem that we face nowadays. So yeah, this is me. You can definitely go ahead and check me out on Twitter. Yeah. So atomicity is one of the most problems that databases have been facing for a long time. Like if you go ahead with an SQL database, then we have a problem of like having consecutive transactions and operations which might fail. Like there might be multiple operations in one transaction and they might fail. So say atomicity actually refers to all or nothing. So it means like if all the operations go through, then the transaction should be successful. If not, if even one of the operations fail, then the transaction itself should also fail. So this is what atomicity refers to. So I'll go ahead with an example to explain it better. Yeah. So say we have two people, Alice and Bob. So Alice has an initial balance of $1,000 and Bob has an initial balance of $500. So Alice wants to transfer $500 to Bob. So what they'll do is that $500 has to be deducted from Alice and $500 have to be credited to Bob. So these are two operations. One is getting deducted and one is getting added. So if even one of these operations fail, then the whole transaction should be invalid. So yeah, without atomicity, what happens is there's a logical error over here. So if Alice, the balance of Alice got cut to $500, but Bob didn't get credited. So that means that the transaction has failed. So this is where the transaction has failed. Alice is left with 500 and Bob is also left with 500. So $500 have disappeared. But with atomicity, this is what should happen. Like if one of the transactions even fail, then it gets checked. Then with atomicity, what happens is if both the transactions should pass. So if even one of the transactions fail, then this whole transaction gets rejected. In the previous case, the first transaction was the second transaction was getting failed, but still the whole transaction got passed through. So atomicity is the building block for transactions. So even in SQL, we have certain keywords, begin and commit. So if we have multiple operations in one transaction, we should always go ahead with that. This can be used in certain financial transactions and anywhere where it is dependent on multiple operations in a transaction. So this is the final state that it should that is expected. So this is atomicity, and this is a very crucial concept for flash loans to understand. So let's go ahead with flash loans. So what flash loans make it possible is for you to borrow an amount of money, which could be from $1,000 to $1 million. There's no limit. It just depends on the liquidity of the bank, or in this case, Aave. So you can borrow a flash loan. You can borrow some money, and you don't have to put any collateral behind that. So you can just borrow the $1,000, perform a series of steps. It could be arbitrage, like you can whatever people do with it, and then you have to return it in the same transaction. So to explain what same transaction means is like what happens in Ethereum is multiple operations are coupled into one transaction. So if any of the operations fail, just as I explained in atomicity, so Ethereum smart contracts are atomic, so we don't have to worry about anything. So if either one of those operations fail, then the transaction would revert. So what this helps us do is that this person can borrow any amount of money with no money down and can do whatever with it. So what it does is that it gives the common user the power of a crypto whale. So you can just grab $1,000, then you can buy ETH with it. Say back in the day when Ethereum was $1,000, so this person just buys Ethereum 1 ETH from Uniswap, and then what he does is that he swaps that ETH for $1,010. So he ends up with extra $10 and responds back with the $1,000. So all the operations have worked successfully. So this transaction on the smart contract will also go through. So let's go ahead with the case where the transaction would not be successful. So in this case, what happened is that this user borrowed $1,000, did the same thing, bought 1 ETH, and tried to convert that ETH back into dollars. So what happened is that the price of ETH on Curve was lower than the price of ETH on Uniswap. So what it made it do is that he incurred a loss. So what happened is that this person is now at a debt of $10 and can't return back the $1,000. So when this happens, then one of the operations has failed. So following the laws of atomicity, this whole transaction would fail, making it such that $1,000 were never transferred to the person. So this is how powerful flash loans are. So you can do a lot of crazy things with it. You can borrow any amount of money, do any operations. Like you can buy and sell, do trading, do a lot of things, and make profit. And people are becoming millionaires with this. So let's get on with the hands-on code. So before going on to the code, I'll just introduce you to some technologies. So this is Hard Hat. Hard Hat is a development environment built for full stack web devs, just like me, and it makes it very easy for developers to integrate Solidity smart contracts with their web application. So we're going to go ahead and initialize a project with Hard Hat. And the prerequisites for like going ahead with this is that you should know a bit of Node.js, and that's it. So we'll make a Hard Hat project, and the guide for a Hard Hat is given here. I'll share this link in the description below. So let's go ahead with this. So the first command is that you have to initialize an npm project. So I'll go ahead and do that. So making a directory, let's call it Flashloans. So we initialized a project. Let's open this up in VS Code. So this is what it looks like. And then what you have to do is that install Hard Hat. It's already installed on my system, so I won't go ahead with this command. But if you're installing it for the first time, you can just copy this command and it will be installed to your system. So I can just go ahead with npx Hard Hat. So what it will do is that it will give me a prompt of what type of project I want to create. So if you're good with JavaScript, then you can just go with JavaScript, or if you're good with TypeScript, then you can also go ahead with TypeScript. So
Hey,
I've
hi,
already,
Akshit.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Akshit. So we're actually stuck on the same screen of Canva. Could you just reshare by sharing the whole screen and not just that particular window?
Oh, all right. Okay, my bad.
Like after we started with Hard Hat, we couldn't, really see what happened
All
after the
right,
Canva screen.
all right.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll repeat it again. Is the
Yeah,
whole
and if
screen visible?
that would be great if you could start from the beginning from the Hard Hat area, like you mentioned.
All right. No issues. Is it visible now?
Yes, now it's visible.
Okay. So this is the Hard Hat website, and it's a development environment for developers who can just go ahead and initialize a Solidity project, which makes it very easy for you to test smart contracts, deploy smart contracts, and code them out. So this is the guide for initializing a node project with Hard Hat. So what you have to do is that just create a directory, and inside that directory initialize an npm repository. So you can just copy this command and put that in. It will create a package.json for you. Then what you have to do is that install Hard Hat. So you just have to do this one time and install it globally. So if you do this, then you can easily work with Hard Hat. I've actually already installed it on my system for the ease of time. So I'll go ahead with the command. I'll say npx Hard Hat, and what it does is that it gives me a prompt to create a JavaScript or TypeScript project, or you can even start with the empty Hard Hat config file. So I'm comfortable with TypeScript, so I have initialized with project with TypeScript. You can even go ahead with JavaScript. It won't matter much. It's just a preference. So I'll just open the project which I've initialized. So this is the Aave Flashloan smart contract, and I'll be explaining how this works. So in order to receive a flash loan, we have to first code out a receiver smart contract, which will receive the funds on your behalf, and then we can utilize those funds accordingly. So once you initialize your hard hat project, which is done using the index hard hat command. So after that, you have a similar directory structure as well, and you'll have this contracts directory in which there will be an example smart contract. So you can just do one thing and copy this smart contract, and I will then go ahead and explain what this is. So in the Aave smart contract, this is the receiver smart contract. So you can see that what we have done is we've imported certain smart contracts over here from OpenZeppelin. So OpenZeppelin is a smart contract library, which you can import certain interfaces and functions, which make your smart contract more robust. So to do that, you have to just write npm I, and you have to add OpenZeppelin smart contracts. And by this command, the OpenZeppelin library will be installed to your project, and then you can find that in your package.json. Right over here, as you can see, OpenZeppelin contracts. So you can import certain functions from it. So what we're doing is we're importing this ERC20 util from the ERC20 library and a safe math function to do computation. Then what we've done is that we've imported an iTool smart contract, which is over here. And this is a smart contract which Aave actually provides you with. So it's an interface of the liquidity pool that you're gathering funds from. So that needs to be imported. Then there's a receiver base smart contract, which actually has all the functions that you'll need. So it's like a base contract which you inherit from. So it makes your job easier. So this smart contract is also provided by Aave. So you can download it from the docs. So the first line is that we're giving a name to our smart contract, which we've named as Aave Flash, and we have inherited this smart contract from this receiver base smart contract. So we can get all the methods related to it. And then we've initialized the safe math and the safe ERC20 utils so that our smart contract is safe. So moving ahead, we have this constructor which gets called once we deploy the smart contract, and it only gets done the first time. And then we have this Aave flash loan. This is the function through which we execute a flash loan. So once we execute this flash loan using the smart contract, what the Aave flash loan contract does is it runs the execute operation on our smart contract. So what we do is that we enter the loan token and the loan amount for the amount of flash loan we have to execute, and then once that's done, the Aave flash loans contract, what it will do is it will check for your execute operation if it's free from vulnerabilities and stuff, and it will execute it. So once it executes it, your smart contract will receive all the funds from Aave which you requested. You can even put a check for that if the amount of ERC20 tokens which you have requested for is equal to the balance of the smart contract for that particular token. And if it isn't so, then it will show an invalid balance for the contract, which actually won't ever happen, but this is just a sanity check. So once that's done, the amount that you borrowed will be logged to the console. And this is a utility provided by Hardhat, which you can just import from Hardhat, as it will come by default if you have Hardhat, if you've initialized your project with Hardhat, which we did in the starting. So once that's done, we calculate the amount of premium that we have to pay off. So that's the amount which Aave requests. It's 0.09% of the amount that you've requested for. So that this is the amount to return, and it is added to the amount of tokens you've requested. So this is the total amount to be returned, and then you check if your smart contract has that particular amount, and if it does so, then it approves the token and it returns the amount, returns true. So if this all these operations are successful and your smart contract is able to pay it back, then your flash loan will be executed successfully. So these are some dependency contracts that are provided by Aave that you'll need to execute a flash loan. So this is the smart contract, which the receiver smart contract which we coded. So once this is done, then we can go on to the tests. So I've made a test, a flash loan test over here. So I'll go ahead and explain this. So we've just imported certain mutants over here from Hardhat, and this is a expect this keyword from Chai, which is the test framework that we're using, and we have imported certain types from the type chain, which is generated by Hardhat itself once you compile the smart contracts. So in order to compile the smart contracts, you can just run the command npx compile, npx hardhat compile, and it will compile the smart contract and generate the typings for it, which you can import in your test further. So I had already compiled my smart contract, so it didn't take any time, but it might take a minute or two when you do it for the first time. So that's done. So this describe keyword is used for describe the smart contract. So we've described it as Aave flash loan on Polygon, and this before keyword is used to before you run the test for the smart contract, the main test, this will execute. So what we're doing here is that we're just impersonating a person who has a lot of USDC tokens. So this person is a USDC main. As you can see, this is the address. You can even look this up on Block Explorer, and you'll find that this person has a lot of tokens. So this is what is happening. We are impersonating that person in order to pay back the flash loan for now. So once we've impersonated, so this impersonate function, if you can see here, we're using the Hardhat impersonate account method, which Hardhat actually provides you. So you can impersonate any person on the blockchain. But this only works locally because you're forking the real blockchain and running it on your own machine. So it is possible on your local system only. So this is what it is. And once you impersonate it, you will be able to successfully execute a flash loan. And this is the loan amount that we are requesting for. And we expect the flash loan to be executed successfully. And if not, it will throw an error. And this is the ERC20 balance that we're checking if we have received the flash loan or not. So what we'll do now is that we'll go ahead and run this test and see if the flash loan test is working. So in order to run the test, you can just say on test, and you can mention the directory for the test. So we have this on Polygon, and this is the Aave flash loan test. So we can just run this, and it will take a minute or two to run the flash test. And as you can see, this describe statement worked with flash loan on Polygon. So this is the line that has been executed, and right after that, this Aave flash loan line has been executed. So once these both are executed successfully, you'll see a tick mark over there. So before running this, what it will do is that it will run this before function that we talked about. So it takes a little bit of time to impersonate that account and deploy the provider, and then it runs. So as you can see, we borrowed this much amount, and the flash loan fee that we were charged was this much, and this was paid by the person we impersonated. So as you can see, the flash loan test worked perfectly, and we have executed Aave flash loan successfully. So yeah, this is all for the coding part. So these are the resources. Let's go over this repository once. I've simplified the code for it, so you won't face much problems. So this is a cleaned up repository which only contains the test for the Aave one. As you could see that the one which I was testing was for BAC and lot more. So this is the Aave Flash test, and it also includes all the Aave Flash contracts. So you can use this. So these are the 5 types of contracts that Aave provides you with, and the Aave Flashloan.so. So this is the one which we coded up. This is the repository, clone it. You can do drag and drop features. So one such protocol is this Furo combo. You can just go into invest mode and no, in create mode, and you can drag drop those execution operations and borrow flash loans and lot of stuff. Like I'll show you a quick demo. You can go ahead with Aave and grab a flash loan, and you can enter the amount over here, and then you can perform a swap. Like we can swap USDC with like DAI for USDT. Then what we do is that we get this. So here we're getting 999. So it will show that like if I put another swap and I flip this from USDC to DAI. So what it'll do is that it's giving me less tokens. This is what's happening. Use one USDC 997. You can play around one flash loan, and you can even gain profits. But it's very hard to do using this protocol. Developers can just create bots. These are some you could use for like self liquidation using flash loans or some other stuff. And then some alternatives to Aave are like this one protocol called Dodo. So this protocol is on different chains. You can use it in Polygon, BSC, Avalanche, and much more. And the specialty about protocol is that it doesn't charge a flash loan fee. Like Aave charges you 0.09% of a fee, but Dodo doesn't do that. You can execute flash loans for free on this. So yeah.
Awesome. That was really
Yeah,
great.
you're audible.
Okay, great. That sounds great. So you're perfectly, like how you went through from starting from flash loans, then you also taught how a person can normally, learn about flash loans, how they can implement it and even execute it. And you went like into pretty much detail about how you can use this protocol or the Dodo protocol, okay, and others as well. So I'm really like very intrigued by what you taught today, okay. And somewhere I feel the things that we have learned today are of very greater use to people who are trying to learn about what is a protocol first, and even what are the new things that are coming in the market, right?
Right,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that's pretty amazing. Like how you like took the leap from starting from a point of what is DeFi and Flashloans, and then we went into how Flashloans work around. So around this, like I have a few questions around this because I myself am a learner, and I'd like to know how it actually works, right?
Yeah,
So let's dumb it down to a little more
great.
easier context, okay? From what I understand, what is
Absolutely.
Flashloans is that you do not need any collateral when you take that loan. Right. It's an
Right, exactly.
uncollateral loan. Okay. It's taken for a certain time period and then you have to return it. Exactly. Right. So can
Right,
you tell us like
absolutely.
how do companies or whoever takes a flash loan or however this works,
Mhm.
how do we decide what is the time period? Like what is the metrics that is decided or what is taken
Right,
in mind when we decide that I have taken it at this moment and I have to return it back in this moment, right? So how that
right.
decision takes place? Correct? Let's go into that.
Correct. All right. Yeah, definitely. So what happens is that Ethereum transactions take about 11 seconds to execute. So you have about 11 seconds to return the flash loan. So when
Oh,
you code it out on a smart contract, what happens is that you've already logic that you want to execute. So it takes like less than a second to execute that. So you don't have to worry about like if I'm not able to pay the loan back or something, because if you're not able to pay the loan back in 11 seconds, then you'll never get the loan.
oh.
So
But
it's
I
it's a
already
little hard to grasp it.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
And
it's
what
like a
happens
test transaction. Like if you
we submit?
sorry, you lagged in
Okay.
between.
Yeah, I was asking what happens if we do not submit the loan in the prescribed time.
Yeah, so you would never get the loan. That's what happens. So it's the beauty of a smart contract that if you are not able to pay that loan back in that particular 11 seconds, then those set of operations get reverted. So
Oh,
it'll be like, I like to explain it as like you go back in time and you never get the loan.
oh wow.
That's how miraculous Flashloans are. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty amazing. Like this can actually solve a lot of, like financial related issues which,
Hmm.
lots of banks suffer as of now. Correct. Because people might take loan, but if they're not,
Right, absolutely. Yes.
giving it back, what is the use case around that? Okay, no, that's definitely very good. So let's move on to the
Hmm.
next question, right? So like, tell me this, like, what is the
Right.
most amazing thing that you find in DeFi? Like you have been in this since like I guess 2 years now. So what is the most amazing protocol you see, or the most amazing development, okay, that has recently happened in DeFi? Or what we could more talk about is even that what you seem to think is like a problem which DeFi is currently facing, and we can have an expected solution maybe a few years down the line.
All right, makes sense. So the one thing I've like besides flash loans, like collateralized loans on Aave are pretty awesome.
Okay.
Like it gives you the power to like put your like premium assets like ETH and Bitcoin as collateral, and then like when you borrow a loan, you actually get paid interest on that. So it
Oh,
sounds pretty insane that you're getting interest to like borrow a loan.
book alone. Oh
So
wow.
that's pretty. Yeah, so protocols like these are like one of my favorites, and I use it on a daily basis. And yeah, and the friction I would say in today's DeFi protocols are that onboarding users is very difficult. Like the thing
Okay.
you're solving, like getting people to have ETH in their wallet, that's very difficult because you have to go through a centralized exchange like Binance or something to get funds in your Ethereum wallet. And I think that's the biggest friction that we're facing right now in terms of
Hmm.
DeFi protocols, and, in general, Web3,
So what do you
getting
think
people
can be
on.
a
And even
possible solution?
yeah, so like what there are some solutions that have come up, but what happens is like
Okay.
there are some solutions which give you peer-to-peer tokens. Like you just give them the like UPI ID, and they can pay it on the UPI ID, and you can connect your MetaMask. And once that set of operations are completed, you get the tokens on your MetaMask wallet. But there's a catch in that. Like you get the tokens, but they are very highly priced than the market. So you can go ahead
Okay.
on local cryptos, and like there was one local Bitcoin as well back in 2012, I believe, one of the very firsts. But I think like these are the protocols that will be in the future, like to interact with like getting people on board onto Web3.
No, like yeah, that is it. That is definitely there. Like, but I see that you mentioned that getting that community, getting people on board is a very tough task, right? So,
Right.
what do you think? Like, currently, companies are already following in Web3 to build their community. Point. Like, that's my first question. And second,
Hmm.
like, how a company can build more of their community? Like, how can they grow it? Okay, so two questions. First, how are they currently doing it, and how they can do it better, basically.
Right, right. So the problem with Web3 is like there's a lot of technical stuff, you know. So like once like people come up with you know like an abstraction of things, like create a simple user interface, like you click one tab buy and you get the tokens. So I think that would solve it. But as for the community, like educating is the best way. Like educating people about what a MetaMask wallet is, what tokens are, what coins are, what tokens are, like what is DeFi, and what is possible with DeFi. I think that is a very good method, and I think people are doing it really well on Twitter and many more platforms. Like educating, I think educating is the current way and the best way to go. I think that's the best way.
No, no, that sounds pretty amazing. That sounds pretty amazing. So thanks for this. Like, let's move ahead with the community questions that we have. Okay, from the
All
Recurrent
right.
community. Okay, so let's have the first question. Okay, so how many Flashloan protocols are available? Like,
All right.
is there any number?
like uh like there are majorly 4 to 5 flash loan protocols as of now, but like people are coming up with new protocols each and every day. So
Mhm.
like the major ones, the famous ones are mostly Aave, Dodo, and there's one which was the first flash loan protocol called Marble, I believe. It was founded in 2018, and I
Okay,
think that's these are the major ones, 3 or 4 major ones. Yeah, out top of my
okay,
head.
okay. Okay, that sounds good. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. So all protocols are working well. Like, how do they help? Like, they cater to different audiences.
No, actually, what the thing is that they have different features involved. Like Aave,
Oh,
what they've done is that they have a complex system. Like they have a flash loan simple for like simple users, but they charge a fee for it, and like
okay,
they also have a advanced one which like enables you to do liquidity swaps, collateral swaps, self liquidation. So Aave has a lot of advantages there, but then there are protocols like Dodo which give you the flash loan for free. So they have that feature. Then Furo Combo gives a user interface for you. Like
okay,
Aave and Dodo don't give you that. So
okay,
each of these protocols have a different unique use case for the users.
okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's move it to the next question. Okay, let's
Yeah,
have the next question.
definitely.
Okay, so how can we relate flash loans to the real world? Right. Like, I guess we discussed
All right.
that earlier as well, right? It can help banks somewhere to revert back unfulfilled loans. Correct, but yes, you can definitely, if you have any other use case, you can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like if we compare flash loans to the real world, it would be really difficult. Like even Aave Docs like quotes that there is no real world analogy to flash loans. Like it's really miraculous that you can just turn time back and never get the loan. So it's a win-win situation for the borrower as well as the lender. So I'd say,
Right.
yeah, you could compare it something to like fiction. Yeah,
Okay, so let's move ahead to the next question. Is that good for you?
yeah. Go ahead, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I have a very simple question around this. Let's take the time limit is 11 seconds, right? Okay.
Okay.
So like what is the level of error that can happen? Okay, let's say I am a person who just could not like send back the loan at 10 seconds 999 milliseconds. Okay, so what is the level of error that can actually happen? Because this is a good win-win situation, but it also brings a lot of risk also, right?
Right. Yeah. So like thinking of it in like that, like if you don't get the 11 seconds, and you haven't been able to pay it back, like there's 0% error in that. Like there won't be a
Okay.
single transaction which would like go through, like you would get the loan and you aren't paying it back. So that mostly won't happen. It's like close to 0.01 because like there are different attacks as well. Like there's one re-entrancy attack which many people have actually exploited, and then with these attacks people actually like protocols like Aave fix these. So there's always a smart contract risk involved
Mm-hmm.
with every protocol. It's just a matter of finding the gold.
Okay, okay, that sounds pretty amazing. That sounds pretty, simple as well. Okay, let's go ahead with the next set of questions. Yeah, exactly. Like we talked, how secure are flash loans?
Right. Exactly. So mostly these days, flash loans are very secure. Like many people are using it for like heavily, and there's a very little
Okay,
risk involved if you're using a well-known protocol like Aave or Todo. So mostly it's very safe. like even if there's some risk, there isn't a risk to the person who's grabbing the flash loan. There's a risk to the protocol. Like the protocol may
Oh,
lose money, but the person who's conducting the flash loan will never lose money. The only
okay,
money they're putting in is the gas fees. That's it.
okay. Okay, that sounds pretty simple. I guess it's very much understandable even to the audience of, how Flashloan can work and can be beneficial to them as well, right? Correct, correct. Let's
Right,
let's go ahead with
absolutely.
the next question. Sure, exactly right. Are Flashloans ethical according to you?
Yeah, so like this is a very debatable question. So like
Gray
what I
area.
think of it is, yeah, it's a very gray area. What happens is that, like, if you think of like a whale, like if a person who already has the funds that a flash loan is providing, right? So that person could actually already exploit a protocol if he has the funds, right?
Right,
He doesn't need a flash loan if he's already rich. Okay, so flash loans are just giving the power to a person who's poor, the power of a whale, you know. So I think
right.
flash loans are
Under-
definitely ethical, and like it actually helps a lot of protocols to defend those attacks and become more strong over the period.
Okay, okay. Sounds like, like somewhere I feel there's a bit of an understanding there, like if the loans are ethical or not. Because for some it might be, some it might not be. Okay, and we don't have a proper regulation around this, right? Because it is backed by people who
Right, right. Yeah,
understand
that's
technology, right? It's not backed by the government,
right.
if we say it. Correct. So regulation, it's not regulated, I
Right,
believe.
absolutely.
So that is why it is in the gray area.
Right. Yeah, that's the laws behind crypto are very very grayish right now. Like even in India, like US has still put forth some laws which are pretty good, but we still have a lot to improve.
Right, right, definitely we have always space to improve. With that, let's let's
Right.
let's get ahead with to the next question as well. What's there? Let's see what's there.
Mhm. All
Are
right.
there okay? Are there any other use cases for flash loans other than arbitrage?
Right. So like there is one really good use case that I love is collateral swaps. Like I talked before about collateral loans as well, right? So like if you've deposited your Bitcoin and you've taken a loan of USDT, right? And you see that the price of Bitcoin is falling. All right. So what happens is that your liquidity will get liquidated. The collateral you put in will get liquidated if you don't save your collateral. All right. So
Okay,
within the flash loans, what you can do is that in a single transaction, you can swap out that Bitcoin for a stable coin.
okay,
If you weren't using a flash loan, what you'd have to do is that you'd have to first withdraw, like you have to pay back the USDT first, right? You'll have to take out the Bitcoin, then put USDT against it, and then take out the flash loan, like take out the loan
right.
again. So flash loans enable you to do it in a single transaction without actually paying your collateralized loan. So you can just swap out your
Okay,
Bitcoin with USDT very easily in a single transaction. So that's a
okay.
very good use case of flash loans. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Like that's very defined in the way you're saying. Somewhere I believe you have a very deeper knowledge. Have you been trying to build something of your own as well around this?
Sorry, your voice in between.
Right. So I was saying like you have a very you have a very pretty detailed knowledge around all of this, right? So I was asking if you have built something on your own.
All right.
How Huddle01 is different from other apps?
All right. Yeah, so Huddle01 is not like other video conferencing solutions. Like we just cater to the Web3 crowd only. So it's about giving the Web3 native people a Web3 experience. So that's our
Okay.
motto. We provide Web3 powered meetings to DAOs, Web3 communities like NFT communities and stuff. And we have features like token gating, via live streaming via live peer, and many more such Web3 native features which other video conferencing solutions do not have at the moment.
Okay.
And we're moving towards, as I mentioned before, progressive decentralization.
Right. That is definitely good.
So
Awesome. It was great having you here, Akshit. Like we discussed on various things. We started on with, talking about how you entered into Web3 space, being, a full nerd computer lover. Okay. And now that you're working in Web3 with Huddle01 and how, Huddle01 is actually helping out in Web3 conferencing to Web3 professionals or native people. You also spoke about DeFi and Flashloans, and you gave a very um, uh, great understanding on how we can do Flashloans and everything, right, with the code um and other related websites that we could use for it, right? So I guess you had a very distinctive and very informative session today, right? How do you think about that, like today, like how did it go?
yeah, it was an amazing experience. Even like testing out this Aave Flash contract was even informative for me, and
Right.
I even got to learn a bit from it. And yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
So I feel like like we have added more information value and even entertainment to the people who are seeing it, educating basically, right? So how do you feel working with
right.
the Requiem team? Like, would you like to say like how it happened? How do you feel working with us, and how you want to see the future together with Huddle One and Requiem? Any insights on that?
Yes, Requiem is definitely doing a great job. It was an amazing experience being there. I love spreading information about Web3.
Right,
Even my friends shill me for it. And I think Requiem and Huddle will definitely go a long way. We can definitely have certain collaborations and host similar, informative sessions with the audience.
right.
It was a great experience. Yeah.
Also know that not only sessions, we could even help Web3 enthusiasts who are wanting to get into Web3, and even professionals who are already there. They can get to opportunities, internship, or even full-time opportunities from even Huddle One and various companies who are hiring through our
Yes,
events,
definitely.
right? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Awesome. This
Yeah.
sounds really great. Okay. It was great having you here. I loved hosting you today. Okay. Any last thoughts which you would like to present or tell? Anything?
Yeah, I'd say just be curious, and that's my motto. Be curious about the new tech, and it'll lead you to great places. Yeah,
Definitely. And actually, you should definitely connect with me sometime soon. We should talk about, what more explorations we could do together. But yes, let's hope to be curious all time. Definitely.
absolutely, definitely. Yeah,
Thank you, Akshit. It was great hosting you today. Thank you so much.
yeah. Likewise, fun being here.
Awesome. Great. So I believe we have, a tremendous session today where a young, enthusiast like Akshit has taught us so many things around decentralized finance and how flash loans work, with one thing to keep always in mind: be curious, still like keep exploring and have fun with new technology. With this, we come, to the end of our, this masterclass today, which we had with Huddle01. And I'm sure all of you had a very fun, enlightening experience today. Before, we get into the closing statements, um, I'd like to thank Huddle01 and give a very huge shout out on how and whatever they are building and how they would want to, take things ahead with building the ecosystem around Web3, conferencing, and helping companies, DAOs, and many other individuals as well to host great Web3 experiences on, video conferencing. With that, we would also like to, give and extend our gratitude towards our sponsors, which is Unifarm. Unifarm is a very great, good platform where you can, basically farm your tokens from various uh, ecosystems like ETH, Solana, and even Bitcoin, etc. Right? Um, with that, there are so many companies that came here today to remind you or to remind all of you, so you can get down to the job descriptions areas and apply to all such companies that have come today and are giving you a plethora of 70 plus like opportunities from across the globe, even remote internship opportunities, technical as well as non-technical. So go down, apply there, sign up. If you're streaming this from anywhere else, okay, like YouTube, LinkedIn, or even Twitter, okay, um, join the Recurrent page, go to the Recurrent website, okay, log in over there and drop in your questions in the chat room section, and you'll get to know many more things around there. Coming to the one unique point that I mentioned before we start the masterclass, NFTs, right? So please attend the session from the beginning on our Ethereum website and drop your NFT wallet, to receive NFT minted certificates to keep a unique memory from today. To do that, please log on to Recrum again and drop your wallets in the discussion room specifically so that it is easier for us to maintain it. Okay, we would love to hear from you to know whom can we host later again and bring in more exclusive and enthusiastic people onto the stage and work with us. Thank you for having me today. But before we end our whole meet today, for those who do not know how to get NFTs or work around NFTs or how to avail these NFTs, I'll show you a very simple small demo around that. Okay, that how does it work? And we'll be using Metamask Wallet today. So I'll be sharing my screen and I'll tell you how it actually works. So just give me a moment. I hope my screen's visible. If it's not, it will be in a moment. Right, awesome. My screen's visible. So as simple as that, what we can do is we can search about MetaMask wallet directly. Okay, so it is said to be one of the most simplest wallets out there, which can help you basically create a wallet on the blockchain and help you get assisted with the it is a crypto basically for wallets, crypto wallet for basically DeFi, Web3, DApps, and NFT, right? One major thing to keep in mind, okay, whenever you log in, okay, keep this thing in mind that the original and the main website for MetaMask is metamask.io, okay, and do not try to click on other websites because other websites are not the original company websites, so maybe they can be uh, a bigger risk for you for security reasons, right? So keep in mind the main website is metamask.io and click on the first link. It's as simple as that. You come here, okay. You can directly go and even download an extension. Okay, so this is basically you can have an extension on your Google Chrome if you're using Google as your web browser. I'm currently using Brave, which is also a Web3 company, which gives you various kinds of incentives as well. Okay, so you just need to download this extension. So like this it will happen. Okay, you can just add it to Brave directly. Okay, add extension, and this is how the extension will get added. So let's just wait a moment to get the extension added.
Laksh, is that all? Laksh?
Right, so this is the MetaMask wallet. Okay, so that is how it connects. Okay, um As soon as that's done, okay, this is a very simple, but very interactive screen. Okay, so you can click on get started. Okay, if you have this wallet already on MetaMask, then you can go to import wallet, or you can just go and create a new wallet. Okay, so you create a new wallet. These are basics of around, what MetaMask can, do and how it can help you improve. So you can just click on I agree. You can give a password of your choice, and then you can directly create. It is as simple as that. Okay, after you have created this, you'll have an like here you'll have an extension basically around where like a drop down menu where you can see how what all do you own, your public key, your private key, everything will be available there, and accordingly you can use it to mint NFTs from anywhere around the world, not only ours. Okay, so but to keep everything on the same page, download MetaMask. Okay, add it to an extension, create your wallet, and simply go and mint our NFTs, Decorum NFTs, the masterclasses that we have for those from your MetaMask wallet. Thank you.